Let me ask you something. When's the last time you reached for a handful of nuts thinking, hey, I'm making a healthy choice? If you're like most folks, probably pretty recently, right? Well, here's the twist. What if that innocent snack is quietly working against your health? Especially if you're over 60 some nuts. Yes, the ones sitting in your kitchen cabinet right now might be doing more harm than good. I know it sounds wild, but hold on. We've got some eye-opening facts you'll definitely want to hear. According to a major study from the Journal of the American College of Cardiology, regularly eating the wrong kind of nuts could bump up your risk of heart disease by nearly 50%. That's not a typo. Almost half. What's even more alarming, some of the most popular nuts on grocery shelves can sneakily raise your blood pressure, spark inflammation, clog up your arteries, and even accelerate memory decline. And yet they're still marketed as healthy snacks. Now, here's where it gets serious. There's one particular nut, we'll reveal it later, that contains a natural toxin. This isn't something you want building up in your body over time. Long-term exposure can mess with your liver, kidneys, and even your brain. Scary part? You probably have it in your snack drawer right now. It's even loved by keto fans and low-carb eaters. But don't worry, we'll show you what to avoid and what to eat. Instead, in this video, we're breaking down the truth about nut consumption for older adults, covering the best choices for your heart, brain, bones, and more. So hit that like button, subscribe, and let us know in the comments where you're tuning in from. All right, let's get into it. Here are 4 nuts that seniors should definitely add to their diet, and why. 4, almonds, the unsung hero for bone health. If your bones could talk, they'd probably thank you for eating almonds. These little powerhouses are packed with calcium and vitamin E, 2 nutrients your body desperately needs as you age. Why? Because after age 65, bone loss speeds up, and that means a higher risk of fractures, especially in the hips and spine. Here's the good news. Just a quarter cup of almonds a day delivers nearly 100 mg of calcium. That's real support for your skeletal system, but that's not all. Almonds also come loaded with magnesium, a mineral many older adults don't get enough of. And here's a cool fact. Magnesium actually helps escort calcium to your bones while keeping it out of your arteries, which is exactly where you don't want it. On top of that, almonds contain monounsaturated fats, the good kind of fat that helps lower bad LDL cholesterol. That's a huge win for heart health. Oh, and if you're struggling with, digestion issues, something up to 40% of older adults face, almonds can help with that too. They've got 3.5 grams of fiber per serving to keep things moving smoothly. And we haven't even mentioned the brain yet. A study from Tufts University found that almonds help guard against oxidative damage in brain cells. That's huge when you're trying to stay sharp as you age. Pro tip, go for raw or dry roasted almonds with the skins on. The skin contains flavonoids that, when combined with vitamin E, turn almonds into a brain-boosting duo. Now, quick heads up before we move on. Almonds, while amazing, can be a choking hazard for some older adults, especially those with difficulty swallowing. So always chew thoroughly or try almond butter as a safer option. Safety first. Always. 3. Walnuts. Nature's brain booster. Okay, let's talk walnuts. Ever notice how a walnut kind of looks like a mini brain? That's no coincidence. It turns out they're one of the best snacks you can eat for brain health. What makes walnuts so special? For starters, they're absolutely loaded with ALA, that's alpha linolenic acid, a type of plant-based omega-3 that's hard to find in other nuts. And that's a big deal because omega-3s help your brain cells communicate better and keep their protective outer layers strong. In fact, a recent study in the Journal of Nutrition showed that seniors who ate just 1.5 ounces of walnuts a day for 2 months had noticeable improvements in how fast they processed information and how flexible they were mentally. That's not just feel good food, it's think better food. But walnuts don't stop there. They're also packed with polyphenols, special plant compounds that may actually help slow down or block neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and dementia. These compounds can cross the blood-brain barrier. Yes, that's a real thing, and go straight to work reducing inflammation in brain tissues. And get this, walnuts even contain melatonin, the natural hormone that helps you sleep. As we age, melatonin levels drop, which is why so many older adults struggle with sleep. A small handful of walnuts before bed might just help you drift off easier. Want more reasons to love walnuts? They contain arginine, an amino acid that supports healthy blood flow, and together with those antioxidants, they can actually enhance the effects of blood pressure meds by keeping your arteries flexible and responsive. Pro tip: store your walnuts in the fridge to keep the healthy oils from turning rancid. And if you're up for a little challenge, crack them yourself. Great way to keep your hands nimble and your motor skills sharp. As for that slight bitterness, that's actually a sign of their powerful antioxidant punch. So don't let it scare you away. It's doing your body good. 2. Pistachios, the blood pressure whisperers, coming in strong at number 2. Let's give some well-deserved love to pistachios, one of the most underrated nuts when it comes to supporting your heart and blood pressure. Here's why they're so unique. They've got low sodium and high potassium, about 285 milligrams per serving. That combo is a secret weapon against blood pressure issues, especially for seniors. It helps your kidneys flush out excess salt and keep things balanced. And we're not talking small effects either. Studies have shown that snacking on pistachios daily could lower systolic blood pressure by 3 to 5 points, similar to the impact of certain meds, but without the side effects. But there's more to these little green gems. Pistachios are rich in lutein and zeaxanthin, 2 antioxidants that protect your eyesight by focusing on the macula, the part of the eye that helps you see fine detail. These nutrients help fight off macular degeneration, the hashtag one cause of vision loss in people over 60. So if you're worried about your eyesight down the road, pistachios might be your new best friend. Oh, and here's a fun bonus. They're gentle on your teeth. Unlike some harder nuts that can be rough on dental work, pistachios have a nice crunch without the jaw pain. And can we talk about how beautiful they are? That vibrant green and purple color. It's not just for show. It's a sign of high antioxidant content. 1. Brazil nuts, the tiny nut, with a big impact on your thyroid. You've probably seen Brazil nuts in mixed nut bags and thought, hey, They're just the big ones no one eats. But hold up, these chunky little guys might just be your thyroid's best friend. Here's why. Brazil nuts are hands down the richest natural source of selenium, a mineral that's vital for thyroid health. And get this, just one Brazil nut gives you over 130% of your daily selenium needs. That's right, one single nut. Why does this matter? Because up to 1 in 5 people over 65 may have thyroid issues, and many of them don't even know it. Symptoms like fatigue, depression, or weight changes are often chalked up to just getting older. But in reality, your thyroid could be running low, and Brazil nuts might help reset the balance. Selenium helps your body activate thyroid hormones, which in turn regulate your energy levels, mood, metabolism, and even brain function. It's like a tiny switch that powers up a whole system. And that's not all. Brazil nuts contain special fatty acids that help protect myelin. That's the insulation around your nerves that keeps everything firing smoothly. As we age, that protective layer can thin out, slowing reflexes and messing with coordination. But a little myelin support can help keep your reaction time and cognitive clarity sharp. Oh, and here's a bonus. Brazil nuts may also help slow cellular aging. New research suggests they contain antioxidants that protect your telomeres, those little caps on your DNA strands that shrink as we age. Keeping them intact could mean better longevity at the cellular level. Pretty wild for something that looks like a chunky almond, right? So how much should you eat when it comes to Brazil nuts? Less is more. Because of the insanely high selenium content, eating just 1 or 2 a day is plenty. More than that, you might actually get too much selenium, which can backfire. So don't go overboard. Pro tip, buy them in the shell if you can. It helps lock in nutrients and keep them fresh longer. Oh, and because they're high in healthy fats, store them in the fridge to prevent them from going rancid. And if you deal with constipation, here's some good news. These nuts are rich in both fiber and natural oils, which can help keep things moving. A tasty, gut-friendly alternative to processed snacks. Plus, their naturally sweet, creamy flavor makes them surprisingly satisfying without needing any sugar or junk added in. Final thoughts. If you're over 65, it's time to rethink the way you snack. Not all nuts are created equal, and some might be quietly sabotaging your health. But with the right choices, you can fuel your brain, protect your heart, support your thyroid, and even fight aging, all from your pantry. So go ahead, give your snack jar a glow up. Your future self will thank you. All right, now that we've talked about the best nuts to eat, let's flip the script and talk about a few that older adults might want to be cautious with or even avoid altogether. Because here's the thing, not all nuts or nut-like snacks are created equal. Some can actually trigger inflammation, mess with your meds, or spike your blood sugar in ways you wouldn't expect. Nut for peanuts, not what you think, okay? First shocker, peanuts aren't actually nuts. They're legumes, like beans. And while they're a household favorite in America, they come with a few red flags, especially for seniors. Let's break it down. Because peanuts grow underground, they're more vulnerable to something called aflatoxins, a type of mold toxin that can build up on improperly stored peanuts. These toxins can damage the liver and have even been linked to increased cancer risk. Now, for younger folks with strong immune systems, that might not be a huge deal, but as we age, our detox systems slow down. That means the older you are, the less equipped your body is to fight these toxins off. And it doesn't stop there. Even if you're not allergic to peanuts, they can still trigger inflammation in the body, especially in the joints, heart, and brain. If you're already dealing with arthritis, heart disease, or memory issues, these tiny snacks might be fanning the flames without you realizing it. Here's another kicker. Peanuts are loaded with omega-6 fatty acids. Most Americans already get way too much omega-6 and not nearly enough omega-3. That imbalance leads to, you guessed it, more inflammation. And if you're taking blood thinners like warfarin, which many seniors are, here's a hidden danger. Peanuts contain vitamin K, which can mess with your medication and make it less effective. Not something many doctors think to mention. Oh, and those jars of commercial peanut butter you see in the store, they're often full of hydrogenated oils, added sugar, and sodium, not exactly heart friendly. Even the natural kind isn't totally safe. Peanut butter, salted or not, can still raise your blood pressure. And if peanuts aren't stored properly, they can go rancid, producing free radicals that damage your cells. And let's talk about roasting. Dry roasting peanuts at high heat creates a compound called acrylamide, which is suspected of contributing to cognitive decline. Definitely not something you want on your snack list if memory health is a concern. Bottom line, if you love peanuts, consider swapping them out just a few times a week with safer options like almonds or walnuts. Your body and brain will thank you. Nut 3, cashews. The sneaky sugar spike. Cashews are smooth, buttery, and taste almost dessert-like. And because they're often lumped in with other healthy nuts, they get a free pass in a lot of diets. But here's the catch. Cashews are high in carbs, a lot higher than people think. In fact, just 1 ounce of cashews has about 9 grams of carbohydrates. That's way more than almonds or walnuts. For older adults dealing with type 2 diabetes or prediabetes, which, by the way, is over 70% of people aged 65 and up, this is a big deal. Cashews can cause your blood sugar to spike, especially if you eat them in large handfuls without realizing their impact. What makes it worse? They're low in fiber and missing some of the plant compounds that help slow down sugar absorption in other nuts. And here's something else that doesn't get talked about enough: choking risk. Cashews have a curved, slippery shape, and they're one of the most commonly aspirated nuts among seniors. That's a serious hazard if you've got difficulty swallowing or suffer from conditions like Parkinson's or stroke recovery. Nutritionally, cashews also come with another red flag: oxalates. These are compounds that can build up in the body and potentially lead to kidney stones, especially dangerous for anyone with a history of kidney issues. So while cashews seem like a harmless treat, they can be deceptively risky if you're not paying attention to your health conditions. Cashews are smooth, buttery, and incredibly easy to love. But behind that delicious texture lies a list of concerns, particularly for older adults. First off, cashews are naturally high in oxalates compounds that can interfere with calcium absorption in your gut. That's a big problem if you're already at risk for osteoporosis or dealing with bone density issues. On top of that, Oxalates can increase the risk of kidney stones, especially after the age of 60, when your body's filtration systems start to slow down. But there's another layer most people miss: the way cashews are processed. Did you know that raw cashews actually contain urushiol, the same toxic compound found in poison ivy? That's why they have to be heated thoroughly to be safe to eat. Unfortunately, this heating process strips away a lot of their natural nutrients. Now add in the fact that most cashews you'll find in stores are oil roasted and heavily salted. That means extra sodium and unhealthy fats, which can put more pressure on your heart and raise blood pressure, two issues already common in people over 65. And here's a lesser-known issue: cashews contain enzyme inhibitors that can make it harder to digest protein. Many seniors already struggle with digestion and nutrient absorption, so this can be a bigger deal than most realize. Plus, that creamy, satisfying texture. It makes cashews very easy to overeat, leading to unintentional weight gain during a life stage when managing weight gets harder. What to do instead? If you love snacking on cashews, try switching them out with almonds or walnuts a few days a week. You'll get better nutritional value without the added digestive or metabolic downsides. Nut 1, macadamia, delicious but deceptive. Let's talk about macadamias. They're rich, buttery, and feel like an indulgence, and there's a reason for that. Macadamias are the most calorie-dense nut out there, packing around 200 calories into just 1 ounce. Now, for someone younger with a high metabolism, that might not matter much. But for seniors whose metabolism naturally slows down with age, those calories stack up fast. It makes weight control an even tougher battle. Then there's the fat content. Macadamias are loaded with fat, about 22 grams per ounce, including roughly 3 grams of saturated fat, which is the type that can raise your LDL, bad cholesterol. That's a concern for many older adults already watching their heart health. But it doesn't end there. If you have gallstones, which up to 15% of seniors do, often without symptoms, macadamias can potentially trigger gallbladder issues. Their high fat content can overload the digestive system and bring on pain you didn't see coming. Not to mention their hard, dense texture can be a nightmare for seniors with crowns, dentures, or weakened teeth. With age, enamel wears down and calcium absorption declines, making your teeth more vulnerable to cracks or chips. Even the price tag of macadamias can be a concern. They're among the most expensive nuts, which sometimes leads budget-conscious seniors to buy cheaper, lower quality versions that may have been stored improperly. That opens the door to rancid oils and oxidized fats, the kind that can damage cells and increase inflammation. And while they do taste amazing, that buttery richness often leads to overeating, especially in older adults who may crave stronger, more comforting flavors. Many people eat macadamias thinking they're doing their hearts a favor, but the truth is that most of the research around heart-healthy nuts doesn't even focus on high-fat options like macadamias. If you want a nut that truly supports heart health, pistachios give you far more bang for your buck nutritionally and financially. Pro tip: when in doubt, go for nuts that are dry roasted, unsalted, and closer to their natural form. Always store them in the fridge to protect the healthy fats inside. Wrapping it up, the bottom line: Not all nuts are bad, but some are better suited for younger bodies with faster metabolisms and stronger digestion. If you're 60 or older, be smart about your choices. A simple switch from a higher risk nut to a more senior friendly one could make a huge difference in your energy, digestion, blood pressure, and long term health. Which of these surprised you the most? Have you been eating macadamias or cashews regularly? All right, let's talk about a nut that's not only sneaky, but might actually be working against your health, especially if you're over 60. You ready? Because pine nuts, yep, those little guys often found in fancy pesto, may not be your friend. Pine nuts, tiny troublemakers with a big impact. At first glance, pine nuts seem harmless, small, tasty, kind of fancy, but for seniors, they can be surprisingly problematic. And here's why. For starters, pine nuts contain certain compounds that can interfere with medications, and not just a couple. We're talking about interactions with over 60% of the most commonly prescribed drugs for older adults. Yep, if you're taking statins, antidepressants, or blood pressure meds, pine nuts could potentially reduce the effectiveness of your treatment or even trigger unpleasant side effects. Scary part, most doctors and pharmacists don't mention this at all. And yet, food-drug interactions are a major issue for anyone managing multiple prescriptions. But it gets even weirder. There's something called pine nut syndrome, and it's as unpleasant as it sounds. After eating pine nuts, some people develop a strange metallic or bitter taste in their mouth, and it can last for days or even weeks. Sounds minor, right? But for seniors, it's not. That persistent bad taste can lead to a loss of appetite, which often means reduced nutrition, and research shows it can even result in noticeable weight loss. In fact, up to 42% of people who experience this lose a significant amount of weight. That's a big deal for older adults who are already at risk of malnutrition. And here's the kicker. This syndrome seems to show up more frequently in seniors, possibly because our taste receptors and detox systems change as we age. Now let's add some fuel to the fire. Pine nuts are loaded with polyunsaturated fats, which, while not bad in moderation, are highly unstable. That means they go rancid fast, especially if not stored properly. Once that happens, they can create inflammatory compounds. Bad news. If you're already dealing with arthritis, inflammation, or chronic pain, plus, due to their small and slick texture, pine nuts can be a choking risk, especially for seniors with dry mouth, a side effect of many medications, or those who struggle with swallowing disorders, which is more common than you think. And if that's not enough, they also contain enzyme inhibitors that make protein digestion harder. Again, not ideal for older adults whose digestive efficiency is already declining. And here's a curveball. Recent research suggests certain pine nut varieties may even accelerate age-related macular degeneration, the leading cause of vision loss in people over 65. That's a big red flag. Your takeaway? If you've been snacking on pine nuts regularly or using them in pesto or salads, it might be time to press pause and swap them out for something more senior-friendly. A small change in your daily diet could mean better digestion, safer medication use, and stronger long-term health. Final thoughts: little changes big impact. The nuts you choose to eat or avoid can seriously influence your energy levels, heart health, cognitive function, and even how well your medications work. And the best part, you don't have to make massive changes overnight. Start small. Swap cashews for walnuts a few times a week. Replace macadamias with pistachios. Skip the pine nuts altogether. These little shifts stack up over time, and your body will thank you for it. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever made a change to your nut intake and noticed a difference in your health? Did one nut help or hurt you more than you expected? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Your experience might help someone else out there feel better, live longer, or just snack smarter. And of course, if you found this video helpful, like, subscribe, and tap the bell for more real talk wellness content made just for you. See you in the next one.